Hey everybody, Paddy here. Thank you so much for watching and listening to TFN, which of course stands for the Effin News. This is all positive news. This is all about positivity. This will give you a boost, I promise you. Our great Kiwis this week are Eli Mathewson and Mike Peru. They are great Kiwis who also happen to be gay Kiwis, and they compare their experiences of coming out. Today's good Kiwi is a Kiwi World Champion. There aren't that many of those. She's 18 years of age, she's a downhill mountain biker, and she's really fast. And a good bonus Kiwi this week, Tiaan Whelpton, is the fastest man in New Zealand. He's our next big sprint star, and a bonus, he's a male model. And how good is Kiwi footballer Chris Wood? I'll tell you how good, real good. Right, let's get into it. Time to meet our great Kiwis. It's now time for Great Kiwi and a bonus, because we've got two of them today, and both of them are incredibly well known to you. Both of them are very funny, both of them are very handsome. Now, they come together because of a new docu-series that's about to come out on TVNZ Plus called Queer Aotearoa. Now, Eli Mathewson is the narrator, who's here with me, and it features my other good friend in one episode, Mike Peru. Now, I have asked them to join me as today's Great Kiwi. Thank you for being great Kiwis, you two.
Thanks, Paddy.
Yeah,
It's very nice of you.
Yeah, well, you are great Kiwis. You're also gay Kiwis, I guess. And that's what I was hoping to talk to you about today was coming out, because I was quite taken by what I saw in the documentary that Eli's narrated, Mike, about the way that you came out. It wasn't easy.
Yes, and you're right, it is a great documentary. I can remember watching a little bit of the first episode, and I was in it, and for some unknown reason I just burst into tears. It was quite an emotional time, and I think it was quite cathartic telling the story. I think I've really had the opportunity to do that, so thanks Eli. I just think hearing it out loud was quite a journey for me. It really took me back to those early days, really.
Yeah, because you were, quote marks, in the closet.
Well, no, look, I was working on a commercial radio station. There was, I just started my career. I wasn't sure whether or not it was accepted, and it was a time, I think, in New Zealand where things were heading in that direction of acceptance, but there weren't too many gay people on screen, on the radio, for me to grow up with. I think I had Ellen DeGeneres, and I saw what happened when she came out of the closet.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
No, it didn't go well.
The first time she got cancelled.
Yeah, see, that's right. So all those things were running around in my head. So I didn't want people to not like me. I didn't want to give them a reason not to like me. When you're doing radio every day, you just kind of kept that a secret. I don't know, it was a bit stupid, really, wasn't it, to keep it a secret?
I still blows my mind how you did it, because I only did commercial radio for a year, but it's like every day you're having these meetings being like, what can we talk about? What can we talk about? And this whole section of your life, you can't go there.
No, and you have to, all your pronouns change. It's quite hard. And every now and again you'd slip up and you'd notice that people would say, did he say he? But, it was, in hindsight, something I should have done a lot earlier, and I think this is the great thing about this documentary, Paddy, is that, you hear people's stories about what it was like, and the trails and the journeys that they had to go through, and I really enjoyed watching it, and really enjoyed sharing my story, because I hope it helps. I wish it was around when I was, in the closet back in 2010.
Yeah, because we're talking about 2010 now. Eli, tell me about your story of coming out.
Yeah, so bizarre, but I actually came out in 2010 as well.
Wow. Big year.
Yeah, I'm like, did you inspire me? I don't know. It was like August that year. I grew up Christian, and I was in Christchurch. I think I knew one gay person, and I think I went through having known one gay person. It's almost like you either want to know none or heaps, because when there's one gay person in like a social group of friends, it just, you do see it become the joke. They become the gay person, all the jokes about them being gay. And I saw that happen, and I was like, I don't want that to happen to me. Then I moved to Auckland, went to drama school up here, and I met so many gay people and so many gay people who had all sorts of personalities. There wasn't one defined way of being queer, and I was like, maybe that'll be all right.
But you were quite struck during the documentary of the differences between, you and Mike, 2010. But, what struck you about that? Just the fact that it was so hard for him?
Yeah, and the idea of, especially like, a gossip column coming out every week, and every week it comes out, you're thinking, I hope they haven't seen me at this event. I hope they haven't, the idea of getting caught. It's just, luckily for me, not something that I had to go through.
That's what you were worried about, being outed, basically, by a gossip column.
Yeah, because every Sunday your heart would thump, thinking, is this the day that people are going to know? And also, I grew up in Gore, and Newsboy and Havoc had done the whole gay man's Gore thing, so that was weighing on me. My mum and dad worked at the freezing works, and I didn't want them to all of a sudden, because, they were really proud of what I was doing on the radio. People could listen every day. I didn't want them all of a sudden, to face people coming up to them at work going, oh, so heard your son's gay. I don't know why, because I tell you what, it was the most freeing thing I ever done. And I've still got all the emails from when I did come out. I made it really quick, said it, moved on with my life, and I thought, in hindsight, I should have done it ages ago. Nothing like being free, and this is the great thing about that documentary, is that you see how freeing it is for everybody. You look at the Top Twins that were around years before me, they were loud and proud. No one really talked about it, but they just were themselves, and it really opens you up to be who you are, and that's a really important thing in life.
Yeah, and you were, what sort of age were you in 2010?
Wow, geez, I was in my mid-30s.
When you came out?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that, Eli? Because how old were you when you came out?
I was just turned 21, so yeah. I mean, I would have had a lot less fun if I'd waited until my mid-30s.
I know, I missed out on so many opportunities.
Use that celebrity power.
There were the odd opportunity, but that would be the thing. As soon as you connect with somebody, you'd be like, oh, geez, I hope they don't, say anything. But thank goodness Facebook and Instagram and all that wasn't around back then as well. God, how old am I?
And you mentioned before Havoc and Newsboy and Gay Gore. I mean, a lot of people won't know what that was, but did that affect? Tell us what that was and how that affected you.
Well, it was a show that they did, and they basically lampooned Gore one day. And I've spoken to Newsboy and Havoc at length on this.
Jeremy Wells and Mikey
Havoc. Yeah, and it was a show that was really popular in its day. It was huge. But they went to Gore, they sat outside the Brown Trout, and they riffed about Gore being gay man's Gore. Gay man's doing it behind the fence. See, I can just about recite the whole thing, really. It's lived with me for so long. But then all of a sudden associating Gore and gayness, and then me being on the radio on a network level around the country, being from Gore, I was just like, oh no, now I've got that on my shoulders. I didn't want Gore to go, oh great, here we go. Here's a guy on radio and TV, and he's gay. There you go. Thanks, Newsboy and Havoc. You knew all the time. So for some unknown reason, I carried that with me, and it was hard. I found it really hard. I didn't want to be the gay guy from Gore. It was hard enough being part Māori. Part Māori from Gore and gay.
And Eli, you grew up in a Christian environment, Yeah, that must have been difficult as well.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that my church was like super strict or anything, but certainly there weren't gay people at church. And at one point when I was younger, there's a character who features on the documentary. I say character, it's a real person called Sai, who used to tour around the world as like an ex-gay preacher. And when you see him in the documentary, you will say, I think you're still gay by the way you present yourself, because he was still, it's just a gay man who married a woman who's probably in the most miserable marriage of his life, touring the world, going around telling gay men they could do it as well. And so when I was a kid, I remember, I didn't go to that service, but I remember it happening. I remember it being like, this guy's on tour, this is his story, this is what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, so you came out of that, you came out of Gore, both sort of different, but both weighing on you. And Eli, when you saw Mike's story in the documentary, what did it make you react? You make a remark by the sounds of things.
Yeah, it just made me emotional, because I felt so lucky to be following in Mike's footsteps, because I grew up listening to the Morning Madhouse, and then I ended up doing the Edge Breakfast for a bit, and it's like, him coming out on air, on the radio, probably paved the way for them to be like, okay, we could get gay people on this show and it would be all right. And now there's been multiple queer people at the Edge, and it's totally fine, and no one would ever be like, don't bring up, the pronouns of your partner.
No, and that was the one thing, Eli, and I haven't seen you since, so I want to say thank you, because you said some beautiful words after the piece that I'm in on this documentary, which is such a good watch, by the way, and it meant the world to me, and I think that was the biggest thing about this entire entire project for those that were involved with it, is that you telling stories about other people's coming out, I think, is so helpful. In a generation where perhaps nowadays people don't care, but it had to take place back in those days, Paddy, you know, like there had to be some people that were fighting and teaching other people that being free and being yourself. And look, New Zealand I found is quite a tolerant country, you know. Like, you know, no one cares. As long as you're good, you know, as long as you're a good human being, no one cares who you're sleeping with, to be honest.
Yeah. And, you know, can you remember those beautiful words from the documentary that Mike's saying?
Word for word right now.
No, I don't want to test you. I don't want to test you.
Yeah, I couldn't do it off the top of my head.
I can remember it, actually. What he basically said was just thank you for what you did, because it made his journey easier. He didn't even have to think about it.
That's true.
And, you know, that was one thing I found about coming out, is the people that come up to me and constantly say, thank you, I was listening that day, my son is gay, it helped me understand, or I am gay, it helped me understand. To be part of that means the world to me. And, you know, I haven't done much for the gay community, but if I help one person, much like Eli in this documentary are doing, they're going to help people understand that it's okay. If there's still that fear, I think it's a beautiful thing to carry.
I think you have done a lot. Like, I think you've helped thousands of people. Like, that was such a big news story when you came out on air. So yeah, don't diminish your impact
Again.
Yeah.
And we always ask our great Kiwis for some advice for other Kiwis. What advice, you know, from your lives do you guys have for other Kiwis that you'd like to share today?
Okay, this is so trivial, but did you know you can set your phone to black and white? This is
No, I didn't. This is good.
It's actually a setting, I think, which has been designed for people with a certain disability, maybe, because it's in the accessibility portion of your settings. But if you set your phone to black and white, which is that's my beautiful boyfriend.
Wow,
right there.
he is handsome, and you know, that's not even colour.
Yeah, even in black and white you can see. But the theory is that then you get less sort of like dopamine hits every time you look at your phone, because it's not bright, interesting colours. And I've been doing that this year, and it's keeping me off my phone.
I'm going to do it immediately.
Yeah. Which is funny to be a gay person being like, take the colour out.
Take the rainbow out of the phone.
And Mike, any advice for other Kiwis?
Well, this is probably a little different to Eli's. Look, the one thing I just want to say is just be nice, you know. I mean, there was a former Prime Minister that used to say that, isn't it? Be kind, be nice. But, you know, look, life, you never know what happens in life, and we are a very small country, and you never know who you bump into and what's going on in people's life. And I just think if you're just nice, it just makes your journey easier, and it makes everybody else's journey around you easier as well. I know it's a bit cliche.
It's not cliche. Not coming from you, one of the nicest men around. That's awesome.
You know what? I was just going to mention as well, one of my favourite bits of the doco is when they go around, when Georgina Bai was campaigning, and they go around these like rural pubs and they talk to these guys. So we're like, yeah, I like it. You know, like it's amazing to see. Just kindness prevails.
Kindness prevails. Thank you to two great Kiwis and two very kind Kiwis. Thank you for being kind and talking to us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Paddy.
And Queer Aotearoa drops this weekend on TVNZ Plus, so you can watch it wherever you get your TVNZ Plus. Okay, now it's time for today's Good Kiwi. Being a world champion is the pinnacle of most sports, and New Zealand has precious few of them. Now, one of them is an 18-year-old from Wellington, from the Hutt Valley actually, who is the junior world champ in downhill mountain biking, and she's won it twice in a row. Please meet Iris van Leuven.
Hi, my name is Iris van Leuven. I'm a two-time junior world champion in mountain biking. I'm from Lower Hutt, New Zealand. I'm 18 years old, and I'm just getting started.
Out of the gate. Iris van Leuven, what a tough cookie she is. This is great. Iris van Leuven is just getting faster and faster. The elbows are going. Iris van Leuven heads down the line.
This is your first wee bike, isn't it? Wee Pinky?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks to my best mate. I got this when I was 6 years old, and then proceeded to crash on it a bunch of times and bash it up. But it's awesome, and I had it until I was 10 years old.
And this is where mountain biking started for you, isn't it? There's an amazing video of you. How old are you in that video? Tell me about that.
I was 10 in that video. Yeah, yeah. So my brothers chucked that video up on YouTube, and that's where my my whole biking career began, really.
What is downhill mountain biking?
It's racing your bike from A to B as fast as you can.
People in the cycling world will know what they are, but what do the rainbow stripes mean?
They mean if you get them, that means you're the world champ.
And there's some amazing footage of when you won it. You run over. You obviously see your time. You run over and you hug someone.
Yep.
Who is that?
That's my oldest brother Finn. When I crossed that line and I saw him, he was yelling, "It's you!" whatever. Yeah, I went over to him. We both had a bit of a cry. Got to hug each other. That was pretty cool. The faster I go, the more calm I feel. Everything just goes away, right? I'm just fully focused on this trail.
You love bikes?
I love bikes. I love bikes a lot.
Tell us about this bike.
So this is my Norco race downhill bike. I've just signed with Norco Race Division. I mean, look at this just metal look, raw. It's just so gangster. It's like, what? This is my bike, so stoked.
And how fast can you go on this? Do you know? Sort of.
Well, the race I'm about to do, there's some jumps I have to take off at around 80 kilometres per hour.
You're going to do 80 kilometres an hour on this?
Yeah.
You have to do that if you want to do the jumps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this next race. Red Bull Hardline in Tasmania.
Yep.
How big are the jumps there?
Big. They're humongous. Some of them are like 80 footers. So yeah, pretty monstrous. Never ridden something that big before, but I'm psyched to do it. It's gonna be a great time.
So tell me about this, Eris.
So it is my great-grandpa's uniform. He was a wing commander and the first man in New Zealand to fly a jet plane. It's a jump/downhill race. So flying is quite a key element to it.
Yeah, you will be flying off those jumps.
Yeah, and my kit and bike is going to be based on that. So I'm pretty excited for that.
So your kit and your bike is going to be based off this design?
Yes, off the design of the plane he flew, which was the Gloucester Meteor.
So you'll be flying off the jumps in the same colours that your great-grandpa flew?
Yeah. How good. How good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for people who don't know what Red Bull Hardline is, there's two in the world. There's one in Wales, there's one in Tasmania.
It's basically, I mean, it says in the name, Hardline, right? It's got a lot of jumps on it that are massive, and it's also got technical aspects of it. So it's basically a free ride course, which is just a lot of jumps, cross between a downhill track, and then that just at both ends of the extreme with that. So it's pretty hard. Yeah.
It's Hardline.
Yeah, it's Hardline.
And how many women have
Completed it?
Yeah, how many?
Two. So in Wales, no one's completed it yet, and the one in Tasmania last year, 2 women completed it.
So only 2 women have ever completed it?
Yeah.
And now you're riding it?
And now I'm riding it.
And can you complete it? Do you think you can?
I think I can. I think I can. I want to.
For the big drop, pedalling off the end of it, Van Leuven down the line, the last rider all caught.
And are you worried about getting seriously injured out there?
I'm not worried because I can't be worried about it. It's not. I never go into a race or a ride worried about my safety because that's. If I worry about it, then I'll probably crash.
But she comes in, what a ride, over 5 seconds to the front.
Where do you want to go with mountain biking? You know, what are your goals now?
I've just joined the senior ranks, so not a junior anymore. But my goals are to race in the elite ranks and become world champ and do well and be on the podium.
Now, that interview with Eris was actually the first proper interview she'd ever done. It's an incredible story and an incredible Kiwi, truly a good Kiwi, potentially on her way to becoming a great Kiwi, something special to watch there. She's going places, mainly up in the air or going down fast somewhere, but not down, downhill, not like going down as in down, because that wouldn't be positive, but going fast is positive. Now, if you know of a good Kiwi you want to dob in who is making a real difference to the community, email me, paddy@tfn.co.nz. Now, I have got a bonus for you. Everybody likes a bonus. Now, a record was broken the other day, and I knew nothing about the person that broke it. The NZ National 60-metre sprint record was smashed by Tiaan Whelpton from Christchurch. He was lightning quick, and I just had to find out more. That's why I call this interview The Fast and the Curious. Tiaan, come in. Welcome.
Thank you. What a privilege to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm curious about how fast you go and how fast you are. You smashed the New Zealand 60-metre record. You're a sprinter and you did it in 6.50 seconds. That's incredible. Congratulations. How do you go so fast?
Well, you put one foot in front of the other and you just do that again and again as quick as you can, pretty much. It's not rocket science sprinting. It's just mostly about the training we put in and, all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, and you're also a 100-metre sprinter, which people know a lot about. You've done that in 10.14 seconds. Am I right in saying that? I guess your goal is to get under 10 seconds. No Kiwis ever done that.
No Kiwis ever done that. That's certainly one of my goals, lifelong goals. I'm hoping to, dip into the 9.9s and me and my coach are ambitious. We're thinking 9.9 is only on the way to 9.8. I think I've certainly got the capability to run some crazy times. So if we can continue on this trajectory, we're very hopeful to get under that 10-second mark.
So, yeah, you would like to be the first Kiwi to run 100 metres sub 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
And, I might as well ask this while I'm talking to New Zealand's fastest man. How fast does New Zealand's fastest man go? Like, in terms of like if I was looking at the speedometer in the car.
Yeah, if you had the police radar going on me, that last 10 meters in the 60, I split through in 0.86 seconds, which roughly translates to about 42 kilometers an hour. So would be quick enough to get a speed ticket in a school zone. Got to watch out.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Yeah, and, there's always a lot of debate about who is the fastest man in New Zealand, and there's other people running and that sort of thing. Who is the fastest man in New Zealand right now?
So that would be me. It's not some of the rugby players, I think, as some of the social media commentators would have you believe. But it's me. I'm two-time national champion, defending national champion in the 100 meters. I've got the resident 100-meter record and now the outright 60-meter record as well. So yeah, that 60 time actually puts me second all-time in Oceania as a whole. So it's not just New Zealand, it's the region. And I think it's placed me top 60 in the world ever across that distance. So pretty happy with that.
Yeah, so you mentioned the All Blacks, you've brought it up. How would you go in a running race over 100 metres against someone fast from the All Blacks, say, for instance, Will Jordan or Rieko Ioane?
Don't get it wrong, these rugby guys are quick. I think it definitely helps that, the other people they're running against on the pitch are not very quick. I think, if I had to estimate, I'd say some of these guys could probably go mid-11 seconds in the 100 metres. So I'd love to do a race against these guys. We can figure out some sort of a handicap and a head start and donate some money to charity. I'd be all over that. So yeah.
You ever have a race against them? And you're from Christchurch, but I sense a South African accent there.
That's correct. Yeah, I was born and bred in South Africa, so moved over here. I've been here for about 8 years now, but officially a New Zealand citizen. Proud to say I am, and I think I'm a Kiwi and a Cantabrian at heart now. So
yeah, and it's awesome to have you here. We need more fast people, and you also, you're a male model as well, which is something different. Yes, tell us about your modelling career.
So the modelling career is only really there to help support the sprinting career. Unfortunately, sprinting's not like rugby or the other big sports in New Zealand. Doesn't quite pay the bills. It actually costs me more money than it makes me. So the modelling is just to help pay for the flights and things to go overseas and just chase my passion and chase my dream, really. Yeah,
and it's something you enjoy doing, modelling?
Absolutely. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's pretty easy work, so I'll take what I can get. It's easy money. So yeah, thank you to the agents that I work with. I have one down here and one up in Auckland, and they get me jobs every now and then.
And tell us, when will you beat this sub 10 100 metre record? When can this happen?
Yeah, so that's the question. We're thinking long term. We're thinking 4-year plan. We're thinking LA in 2028. That's the next Olympics. If I can dip under that 10-second mark sometime in the next 4 years, I'll be pretty stoked. Wasn't expecting to be running this quick this early on into the 4-year plan. So 650, if you translate it or you move it on to 100. To give you an idea, actually, my 10.14, I split through 60 in about 6.59 seconds. So if you're running through 60 at about 650, you're coming through at around 999, 998. So it is on par with sub 10 speed. We're just going to have to be able to see if I can hold it for that last 40, but we're definitely on the right track.
Are you serious about having a sprint against one of our All Blacks?
Absolutely. I would love to. And I've said this before on social media, I think it'd be something fun. The only issue is I think, these guys, they're viewed and they're viewed as role models in this country, and, they're put on somewhat of a pedestal. I don't think people are really going to want to see them get whipped. And as funny as it may sound, yes, a professional 100-meter sprinter is going to be quicker than a professional rugby player. These guys are skill-based athletes. They're tremendously skilled when it comes to being able to pass, kick, and do all this sort of stuff. All I do is run in a straight line. So I'm going to be better at that than they are. But if they're keen, I'm absolutely keen. We'll do a handicap as well. I reckon I could catch them if they were about 5 meters ahead of me. I reckon I'd catch them over 100 over the length of a pitch. So
it's basically
I think we could have some fun with it.
It's basically a challenge. You do it for charity, but it would also show Kiwis, just how talented our sprinters are compared to the All Blacks, who a lot of us think are really fast.
Yeah. So unfortunately, people don't really understand sprinting. But to put it in perspective, the speed I'm running at, you're about 100 times more likely to meet a billionaire than you are to meet someone who's quicker than me in this world. So there's not really many people. There's maybe about 30, 40 people that'll outsprint me on this planet. So that's, we're talking top 0.00001%. It's a very competitive event. It's a very competitive sport. To get this far, you have to be pretty quick. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to be brave as well, very brave to wear the speed suits because they show everything. And I guess it's good to be a male model as well because, you're endowed physically. Also.
It does help. I won't lie. The speed suits don't leave much to the imagination, but they do well for the social media posts. They do help you get a few extra followers, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, it's the ideal combo: sprinting and male model in the
absolutely.
Yeah, great, very complimentary careers. All right, thank you very much, and Tiaan, good luck out there.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Paddy.
Hey everybody, well, it's good news. That is positive news that we have an extremely fast and extremely sexy man on the scene. And as for that challenge to the All Blacks, well, the word chicken comes to mind. You can't see them sort of wanting really, they think they're fast, they think they're sexy. Maybe they don't want to but peer pressure like that wouldn't be positive, so I wouldn't do that, would I? I wouldn't put peer pressure on the All Blacks to rise to the challenge from that fast and sexy man. I'd never do that. Okay, that is TFN, the effing news for another week. Now, if you hear of anything or know of anything that can bring some positivity into the world of news in this country, get in touch. Paddy@tfn.co.nz. See yous, yes, I deliberately said yous, next week.